Hello and welcome back to another episode of Holton Talks. Today it's myself, Aaron, and I'm joined by Jamie. You right, Joe?
All right, mate.
All good?
Yeah, man. All good. All good. What about you?
You're not too bad. I'm sat on the sofa, not in my regular place, obviously, because I just had a back operation, but I'm filling in for Scott, who said he's got a bad tummy, so
Left us in the shit.
he's left us in the shit. Was that a decent pun then you made then, was it?
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, it is.
So we're just going to look ahead to obviously Villa's game the weekend against Tottenham Sunday, 2 o'clock. So what's your thoughts, Joe, going into Sunday after obviously 4 wins on the bounce?
Um, Obviously we got tough two fixtures after this, so I'd like to think we can avoid defeat, and you're continuing that unbeaten run. Um, I think that'll be a positive. Obviously, a performance of some ilk would be good because even though we have been winning, the performances haven't been, you know, as eye-catching as what they have been in previous seasons.
Yeah,
So, I remember after the World Cup when we beat them 2-0, I think, of Buendia and Watkins, I think it was, at their place.
no, Buendia and Douglas Luiz.
Yes, that was it. Sorry, the Guinea little one over the top, wasn't
Yeah, and
it?
Luiz flicked it, didn't he, over the like tapped it
Yeah,
past the goalkeeper.
that's it. Yeah, it was Watkins' season before, wasn't it, under Smithy? But yeah, we that game there, I remember we just played them off the park, and that's when Tottenham were much better than what they are now. But I remember coming away from that thinking, God, like Emery's really, got these guys ticking. But obviously, like I said, the start of the season is a bit stale, but like, 4 wins on the spin. If we can continue that with a win or even a draw and we play well, I think I'll take that.
Yeah, it's a lot. We actually got a decent record against Tottenham, I think.
Yeah,
Previously, obviously, they beat last season. Was it winning and a loss, wasn't it, against them last
yeah,
season? Yeah,
they beat us 4-1 at
yeah,
their
it's quite
place, and
heavy,
we,
wasn't it? Quite a heavy
yeah,
defeat against them.
mm,
But it'd be interesting to see where we are, obviously, after the 4 wins on the bounce, going up against quite. They've been all right, Tottenham, but from what I've seen of them, obviously they lost to Bournemouth, is it? Their only loss in the Premier League?
I think it was 1-0. I think, yeah.
Um, which I know their fans weren't happy about the performance, but they're up there at the moment, so it will be interesting to see how we fare, especially obviously going to their place. Um, so obviously, still Tillemans is still out; he's had a setback. Which is disappointing. But obviously, with the team at the moment, do you think he make much changes from what he's been playing? Do you reckon he still stick with Bogard? Obviously, I didn't go to the Burnley game, but I watched it. Obviously, you had Bogard dropping back into that like right centre back position, didn't you?
Mm,
With Cashy getting on a lot more. Do you
yeah.
reckon they stick to that, or do you reckon they change it up?
Um, I mean, he does tend to change. Like he has his core players that he uses. Even though it hasn't been this season, but obviously Martinez is usually a mainstay. Esbury is, um, and then you usually have both Boober and Tielemans and Rogers and Watkins. Then you kind of filter around that. Um, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. Obviously, the most interesting one in my mind is the Torres Mings one because Mings was arguably one of our standout players in a really poor team that started the
Mm.
season, and we
Mings is
picked.
still injured, don't he?
I'm not sure. Obviously, we're recording this before the press conference, but
Yeah,
he did say he'll be back in time
I do.
for the Spurs game. That was his hope. But Torres was one of our best players. When he since stepping in for Mings, I thought that final game was one of the best performances I've seen in a Villa shirt from him. He was so good,
Yeah, and then
and I feel
Bayern Munich, he was pretty good, wasn't
Bayern Munich, he
he?
was
Yeah,
really good. I just feel like if you have no Tielemans, I think I said in the last episode, I think Torres
yeah, I
has to
heard.
play
Yeah.
because you know he'll make more line breaking passes than any bar Tielemans. He'll be making and maybe Rogers he'll be making the line breaking passes. So yeah, no, I think he'll probably set up similar to how he did against Burnley, but you just never know with Emery. Sometimes he likes to chop and change with Matson and obviously Torres and Mings and obviously Luka Dean, like
Yeah,
I says with. But obviously away from home, I'd imagine he'll go Luka Dean, especially with Kudus being their bright spark. I don't think he'd do as well. as what he has done at Spurs, but he's really can't.
From what I gather, he's played well without. I know he scored. He scored in their last game, didn't
Mm.
he? Which was his first goal. But yeah, obviously, I don't know what Watkins whether he'll be available after getting injured for England. If he's
Yeah,
not
but
available, stick Martin up there on his own, would you?
oh yeah, I think Marlon's a nine anyway. I really don't see Marlon out wide much. But yeah, have Marlon through the middle. I think would be a good idea. He'd like just. I mean, obviously, if Watkins is fit, he plays. But Marlon scored a good goal for Holland. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
saw
see
in
that.
the international break, and then obviously he got two against Burnley. He done really well for the Guinea goal against Feyenoord, and I just think through the middle he's so dangerous, much more dangerous than what he is out on the right or on the left. So even if it is the case that Watkins ain't fully fit and Marlon starts, I still wouldn't. If Marlon's through the middle, that is, I wouldn't have any sort of you know hesitations.
No, he
Like
doesn't have.
my expectation wouldn't drop.
No, he doesn't really have the same. I say work rate than Ollie, but he obviously Ollie puts himself about, whereas I think Marlon sort of sticks to that one position when he plays up there. If that makes sense. Obviously,
Mm,
Watkins will offer us a bit more. I think he got quite a lot of success against Burnley because they actually played a quite high line, which I was surprised about Burnley.
yeah, they came out
They,
the gate and pressed us quite high, didn't
yeah,
they?
quite
So
really high, which I was very surprised about, which obviously left him a lot of space. Obviously, from you saw from his first goal with Booba putting him through there.
mm,
Um, and he's finished off two goals like we haven't seen him finish before. It's fucking two hell of a finisher, especially the second one.
yeah, that second one is, but that's what you
So
want from your striker, isn't it? Touch finish.
no, yeah, hundred
You,
percent.
it's. I mean, I'm saying it's basic stuff. It's not basic stuff, but as a striker, if you're getting it and you're touching it again at your feet, bang, straight away. So that's what it is. And even in pre-season, you remember in pre-season, he was on fire. Him and Watkins were
Yeah,
both scoring
both were,
goals.
yeah. So
So yeah, like I says, if Watkins ain't fit, I'd have I wouldn't check. Like if I'm going into the game hoping for a win, if Watkins doesn't play and he's on the bench and Marlon starts through the middle as the nine up front, I wouldn't then think, oh no, I'd probably, I'd probably have a draw. Like no, I have a lot of faith in Marlon, especially after the Burnley game, the final game, and what he's done in the international break.
yeah, hopefully it's just that. Hopefully that game against Burnley is just giving him that a bit of confidence that he needed for us. Um, because we have seen glimpses of him being a good player, the way he gets in behind defenders and stuff. But obviously, he's played more as attacking a right winger, isn't he, rather than a striker.
Mm,
So I actually quite like what Emery did against Burnley, putting the two up there. And obviously McGinn just slotting into the right, which I don't think is McGinn's best position, but it suited us the way we played with Bogar coming back, Cashy getting more attacking.
mm,
Um, like you said, I think he'd go with Digney. Obviously, away from home, he's better defensively than Matson.
yeah.
But then I wouldn't have an issue if Matson was starting, to be fair. Um, my only, what do you make of this Rodgers situation at the moment? Obviously, his England performances versus Villa performances, because I see someone, I can't remember who it was, made a good point. I actually haven't thinking about it. He said for England, he gets a lot more space, where same as last season for Villa. Whereas this season, he's like a more of a marked man for us when teams come up against him. Do you reckon there's a bit of that involved with his because his performances have dropped off a bit for Villa or not? Did you see? I can't remember who said it now.
Yeah, no, I remember what you were. I know what you were talking about. I've said the same thing, and I went into the Burnley game thinking about before it was mentioned about his has he been found out.
Yeah,
Um, I think he gave an interview basically saying that he's like people know what he's about now, so blah blah blah. And I was looking, and that I think it's Josh Laurent used to play at Reading was just literally following him everywhere
yeah,
for Burnley and just would not let him out his sight. And it's just, you think when he first came here and the season after, or last season, he had so much time and freedom. You remember that West Ham away game we went to?
a lot of time.
He could literally drift off of Watkins, get it, turn, drive,
Mm,
no problem. Whereas now teams are setting up to stop him because I think they realise if you stop Rodgers, you stop the supply line to Watkins, which is what we've seen because
mm.
Watkins has been very scarce of chances recently.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I didn't think about that before I saw that, and then when I read it, I thought that's actually probably quite true. Because of obviously his performances going into last season. He probably is more of a marked man than what he was last season, which gives him less space. But on
To
the,
be fair, even if he's a marked man, it doesn't give him the excuse of misplacing a 5 yard pass because he's been
no,
he
it
he
doesn't. No,
he has been absolutely like we've been playing with 10 men. We've won 4 games on a
yeah,
row, but while playing with 10 men,
yeah, yeah. I agree with you.
you
Like I was watching it on against Burnley on Sunday, and I think there was two of them. There's one where he's on the halfway line, and he's just got to pass it. I think it was like 3 yards, and I think he went out for a throw or something like that. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on?
yeah, it's
And
like
it's
sometimes
just
the
his
thing.
body
Yeah.
language as well. Do you know what I mean? Like when someone else he doesn't get the ball or someone, he sort of his head's down, his shoulders are up. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
He was. I did notice he was doing a bit of that for England as well, against Latvia when Anderson had the ball. He was looking to get the ball and it weren't coming to him, and he was like shrugging his shoulders and stuff like that. So hopefully, because we're playing a better tip, like a better opposition than what we have done recently, hopefully he might find a bit more space because they might not be looking at it like that. But obviously, time will tell on Sunday. But he does. Emery starts him and plays him every game for 90 minutes.
Mm.
It just absolutely baffles me why he doesn't come off, especially with the likes of Harley Elliott on the bench who can play that position. Do you think he just needs like to be dropped for a game just to prove to him that he can be dropped from Emery? I just don't get it.
Yeah, so Emery got asked this question. Can't remember what game it was, but he got asked it, and he basically said he was like, Rodgers offers a lot out of possession with our defensive shape, and he understands it.
Mm,
And so I think that's obviously why he keeps him in. Which obviously for a fan is frustrating because you pay you pay for your ticket. You want to see goals. You want to see excitement. You don't see to watch. You don't pay to watch and see defensive structure and stuff like this. But I can understand where he comes from. But it is very frustrating when you pay money to go watch a game of football and someone can't pass a ball 3 yards. And then you got someone like Harvey Elliott who's basically won everything there is to win, and he's there and even Sancho, like I know he's been ill the past few games, but I thought Sancho looked good against.
it's when he came on for that game, wasn't it? He came on.
Yeah, yeah, and he just gives me like him and Matson linked up really well, and obviously that was the starting left hand side for Dortmund in the
Dortmund.
Champions League final, which was two
Mm.
years ago. 2 years ago, so it's like
And Marlon was in that team as well, wasn't
Marlon didn't
he? Yeah.
start, but he was in that team. He
Yeah.
he was he was tied top goal scorer that year with 13 or something like that. But he didn't start. He didn't start the final, but Matson and Sancho did, and they're on that left hand side, and they linked up so well. And it's just you could see that when they were playing. So I don't know what the situation is with him as well, because again, we haven't had the press conference yet. I'd like to think, if he's fit, he can get some minutes because he looks really promising. If we're chasing the game, bring both him and Matson on
Yeah.
would be good. But yeah, he's got to sort out this whole Rodgers situation because it's getting to the point now where we are playing with 10 men, and it's literally like we're shooting ourselves in the foot because usually you don't mind a player losing the ball here and there or not tracking back, having their head down, shoulders up, like you were saying. But when he isn't producing like he was the previous 18 months, you can't. He has to produce, otherwise he has no license to misplace that the odd pass or walk around.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, looking at Tottenham, what have you made from what you've seen of them under Thomas Frank compared to obviously Ange? For me, they look a lot better going forward from what I've seen of them, from what they were under Ange. Um, and I do think it'd be a tough game, and I think I would if you offer me a draw now, I'd probably take it. Um, so, what are your thoughts on the way they started under new manager?
I think they've been getting good results while not necessarily having those eye-catchy performances. I think the win away at Leeds was good, but I thought Leeds started well. The Bournemouth game they lost was awful. They were so bad. We could have 1-0 flat as them on that game, but Man City was a Man City away. We
Yeah,
played them like again like that's just. Do you remember Thomas Frank under Brentford just kept beating the big teams, any time away from home, they'd find a way to get a point. I remember, do you remember the season we qualified for the Champions League?
Conference
So
League.
the Conference League season,
Yeah,
we drew 3-3, and it's just like we're all over them, but yet they still managed to score 3 goals against us. And that's obviously when they had Tony in that. But I remember thinking, I was like, how the hell have they come out of this with a point? But they just, Thomas Frank teams they set up, they have that knack. It's the same way final the way for us. It's like first half we get absolutely bullied. Really, we're really really soaking up the pressure, and then all of a sudden second half we put in a probably performance of the season so far. So that's how Emery plays. That's a typical European away performance. So be interesting tactically to see what happens. But like I says on Tottenham, they haven't had no eye catchy performances where I've sat back and gone, wow, like this is a proper team. It's
yeah,
more
I know
so
what you're
the
saying.
fact it's more so the fact that they've been grinding out the results while performing at like a mediocre level, or not mediocre, but like a slightly above average level. If they can increase that level and get to a point where I don't know, like if you remember Ange's first season when they were just you looked at them and you were afraid of them really because you think
Yeah,
God
they
they can
were
hit.
top after the first like what, 10 games, is it?
Yeah, they were just beating everyone. I think they won 9, lost one, and that was a Chelsea one where where everyone got sent off and injured, and they had
Yeah.
like 8 players.
So yeah,
But no, I'm impressed with their start. I feel like they've done well to get a manager like Frank because I feel like Frank is he could have gone to anyone really in England, obviously barring obviously Arsenal and City. He could have he would be a good appointment for anyone because just the way he sets up, away from home is completely different to at home. You'll see some games where he'll do a long throw, some games where they play it short from a throw in. It's just like there's just things where like most teams just continue with the generic stuff, whereas we always people always moan about Emery with no plan B. Thomas Frank must have like the whole alphabet in plans because every single time you watch a Thomas Frank team play, it's always different to how it is the time before, which is fascinating. That's what makes him such a great
yeah,
coach.
he is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your predictions then for the weekend?
Hoping for a goal, at least. I'll go 2-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1. I think I'll take a draw personally.
Yeah, I
But
would I would as well.
these are the games you need to win if you want to be up. Do you know what I mean? Top five,
Mm.
top six.
No, exactly,
So
yeah.
hopefully we win. But yeah, I'm gonna go for 1-0. Last thing from me is I'm still waiting for you to make an informal apology.
An informal apology.
Formal apology.
A formal apology. Okay,
Yeah,
what's up? What other
yeah.
is
Matty
my
Cash.
haircut?
Matty Cash.
Oh. Oh, Matty K. No, no, to be fair, yeah, he has been very good. He's been very good. But no, he's been good. I think having Gesson out on the right has helped him because Gesson seems to be dog shit going forward. But when you put him in our own half, out of possession, he just runs and runs like he's so good defensively. And I feel like because a lot of times, obviously, they double up on a fullback. Cashier's left 2v1, whereas now he's got Gesson there. Like you look every time when we marked Jack Grealish out the game. Really, Gasson did. It weren't Cash. It's handy having someone with such high defensive work rate to support you. But Cash has been doing very very well. I must admit,
Well
he has
done.
doing well. He's doing well.
Well done. Right.
See, I can own up to when I've made.
So can I.
No, you can't. You've never ever ever said, you know what, Jay, I'm sorry. I done this, blah blah blah, or you know what, Martinez is good, or whatever. Where's my apology for Emery actually? Because I won't say some of the stuff you're putting on our group chat.
Yeah,
Because
but I was putting that to wind everyone up, but no one was biting.
yeah, all right, all right.
Honestly,
That
no one was